Okay, so if you guys saw recently, I did a video talking about a fanfiction series that kind of sits in a universe where a lot of characters from my favorite shows settle down and have children. But I decided to do a follow-up talking about some characters I recently created. And someone did ask, are there characters in this universe outside of Xander, who is the son of Toffee and Dominator, and he's the main villain, are there other villains who had kids? And I could say, yeah, and I want to do a little more character background for several more of these characters. Because I think some people got a little confused that I was just remaking the characters over again, but yeah. Anyway, so let's talk about the villains, the villain children. And they all work for Xander in one way or another. Starting with Hawkwasp. Hawkwasp is now, he's not really the son of a villain. He's not really the son of villains. He's more like the son of heroes. If you guys remember, I mentioned a character called Emily Agreste, who is the current Ladybug. She is the current Ladybug in this timeline, and the daughter of Adrian and Marinette. However, they had an elder son. And he very much, obviously I based this character off of another character. He kind of followed in his grandfather's footsteps, and instead of becoming Hawk Moth, he actually tapped into dark magic and created his own Kwami, a wasp Kwami, thus becoming Hawkwasp. Yep. Hugo Agreste is Hawkwasp. He is the elder brother of Emily Agreste, the current Ladybug in this timeline, and Hawkwasp believed that he wanted to attain power. He really believed that peace can only be achieved through power and will, you know, peace through tyranny kind of a thing, because he looked back at a lot of his parents and their other allies' adventures and saw the devastation they caused and said, you know what, we kind of need order. We need like a stern hand, you know. To fight monsters, we must become monsters ourselves. And since he wasn't able to access Nuru, the, you know, Hawkmoth's Kwami, he instead tapped into dark magic and created his own Kwami called called Stinger. And Stinger allows him to become Hawkwasp, which gives him this armor that is, think of it if you mix Blue Beetle and Scarecrow together. So he makes this, it gives him this armor that can form into different weapons, but his main weapon are these stingers he can shoot out that can inject, if you get stung by them, it can inject a type of fear toxin, and it makes you hallucinate into your worst fears and drives you insane until you die of if you don't find an antidote or find a way to cure it, you will die of a heart attack. Because your adrenaline's going to go so fast. It basically overworks your adrenaline to the point where you just die from a heart attack or something of that like. So Hawkwasp works with Xander because he believes Xander is this epitome of order. He believes that he can bring like a firm hand of order to the world. So Hawkwasp works with him. Among other characters is Menace. Menace is the son of Shigo and Dr. Draken. He is actually... Now, Shigo and Draken, in this continuity, after the events of the alien invasion from the Lorwardians, they retired. They retired, and from there, they stopped being villains. However, their son kind of got an itch he can't scratch, the villain itch, and he has his father's brains and his mother's brawn and energy powers. Thus, he took on the identity of Menace and decided to fuck some shit up. And his main enemy was Angela Possible, the daughter of Kim and Ron, and their sidekick her sidekick is their son Charles Possible, although Charlie for short. But yeah, Menace hooked up with Xander. He's loyal, but much like his mother, he's got a bit of a lip to him. And Xander tolerates it because he gets shit done. Another villain is Lady Ravager. Lady Ravager is the daughter of Ripon and Lady Starblaster. Now, if you guys remember, Ripon, as I said in the series finale, Ripon and Lady Starblaster, along with several other characters, including Larry, they retired to the most dangerous world imaginable to basically just live out their lives and rule it. But, however, when Lady Starblaster gave birth to Kendra, her real name, their daughter kind of wanted more than just be the princess of a desolate death world. she decided that she wanted to rule the galaxy. And she eventually found by Xander, and she took on the identity of Lady Ravager, and now became his top lieutenant, Xander's top lieutenant. But much like Starscream, she believes that she can be better than Xander, and wants to take him out of the picture so she can rule. And she also has Larry's daughter, Lainey, as her little assistant. Another character is Invader Max, the son of Zim and Gaz. Yep. And much like his father, he wants to be an invader, but he knows he can't do it because he doesn't have the technology, and he knows that his father's an idiot. He very much takes after his mother. So what he does is basically hook up with Xander because he's like, hey, I can conquer whole worlds. Why bother with a planet that is totally, that my dad just couldn't conquer, so I'll just do it. So yeah, Max, and then we have Scorpio. Scorpio is the son of El Tigre and Black Cuervo. He is their son, but he doesn't have the Tigre belt. Scorpio instead fashioned an armor much like his mother, and he's a mercenary. He kills for money, and Xander pays pretty well, so he works for him as long as he keeps paying him. So that's kind of the cabal of villains that work with Xander. But they not so much work with him, they more like work for him. So that's kind of it. That's kind of it for the character villain, for the other, like, young characters. There is also several other supporting characters, like I said, with Asami and Korra's son, who someone gave me a really good name of Hikari, which is the Japanese word for fire, which I might actually use that. I can't remember who suggested that, but kudos to you. Then we have, like I said, Emily Agreste, the current Ladybug, who is more like her dad, really. She's more like her dad in that she loves doing puns. She's very Spider-Man-like. She loves doing, like, all these fun puns, poking fun at her enemies. But she knows in her heart that, yeah, my brother is has killed people. My brother's a murderer, and I just want my family to be back together. Another thing I forgot to mention in terms of Jack and Akiko's parents, Pen and Sashi, is that Pen and Sashi are divorced in this continuity. Reason being, and keep in mind this is before the series finale, is that during a mission, that in this continuity, they kept doing missions well into their adulthood. And basically what happened is one mission, they were battling Toffee. And Toffee shattered Sashi's spine. He crippled her for life. So she was wheelchair-bound for the rest of her life, and that broke her spirit so bad as that she distanced herself from everybody, including her husband. So Sashi in this continuity is divorced from Pen, and yeah, it's not a pretty sight. So Jack is trying to keep everyone, keep his younger sister happy. He's trying to make, deal with the whole 2 Christmases. Yeah, it's not fun. Among other things, another thing is that a lot of people just thought that, and I should have explained this better, and I apologize, but basically, another thing that happens in this continuity is that, like I said, Dipper, when he grew older, and, he basically called himself his real name, Mason, when Mason grew up, he became like a John Constantine / Doctor Strange type character who hunted down demons. And I did say that at one point when when his and Wendy's son, Ian, was very young, he traveled into another dimension and got lost. He didn't do it on purpose. He was actually he was trying to chase down another demon from entering our world, their world, and he got lost in their world. He's been lost there for years, and his son has kind of grown up disenfranchised, thinking that, yeah, my dad just ditched me. So he's very much disenfranchised while he's kind of given up, whereas Wendy wants to believe that Dipper has the know-how to survive out there, while his son is just like, get real, Mom, he's fucking dead, or he just stopped giving a fuck about us. So yeah, Ian's a heavy smoker too. Like I said, very much Constantine inspired. Then we have Nathan and Natalie, his cousins, who are Mabel and Pacifica's twins, and they are basically very much like Dipper and Mabel, except Nathan's more like takes after his mother, while Natalie is very much like her uncle. but in that regard, she's a little more, I wouldn't say grown up. She knows that she's a kid, but she's actually a child genius. She's actually one of the smart, like, one of the most intelligent members of this little group. But Ian takes it on himself to very much raise these two, while at the same time his Aunt Mabel and Aunt Pacifica are trying to be like, look, we're trying to steer you in the right way, but you are very much following in your father's footsteps, and you're really sliding out of control. And he's just like, fine, fuck you. So Ian's a very angry person. Astra, the main focus of this story, is she also knows martial arts, like from her father, of course, and Astra is very much like her mother, but at the same time she's also cautious. She knows when to have fun and knows when to back it up and go, oh wait, maybe I should be serious here. That's kind of the train of thought for her in the majority of situations. So that's kind of that thing right there. The other thing about Xander is that he was bred, basically, it was bred into him by his parents to hate Muni. It was bred into him to hate Muni and hate everything that they stand for, and he was more or less treated not so much a son, but more like Toffee's next, like, plan B. He was more like a fallback plan. If anything happened to Toffee, and oh boy it did, as we all know, that he made plans to make sure that one day Xander would finish what he started. Yeah. so yeah. And Dominator, of course, she's not exactly mother material, so, you know, that boy was taught in the ways of hate and anger very quickly. But yeah, that's kind of it's kind of a bit of more about it. Oh yeah, I also forgot there's another villain assisting Xander's, who's in Xander's crew. Crow. Crow is actually a character I created a while ago for my Stormhawk stories, but I reinvented him here. Crow in this continuity is the clone son of Master Cyclonus. He's very much like his mother. He's very stoic. He's the male. He was made male because Cyclonus decided, make him a boy. Why? That was kind of her train of thought. I was like, I don't want another me. Just make him different because I don't want people asking questions. The person who helped her make this clone was another character I created called Gideon. Not that Gideon. Gideon is a Merb I created who assisted her grandmother in forging like other very forbidden experiments. So she found him and he helped make this clone for her. And Crow is he does have a lot of his mother's drive and her anger and her power, but he's very much, he doesn't have an army. He doesn't have anything to back him up because Cyclonia was officially defeated by Atmos. So he's working with Xander because Xander promised him, I can put you back in power. I can put Cyclonia back into power on Atmos. You help me, I will help put you back into power. So that's another character, and I can't believe I forgot about him up until now. Who else am I forgetting here? Oh yeah, Rose. Rose, she's very fun-loving, but much like her mother, she can be very cautious, but she also has her head in the clouds in a way. She's very much like, oh boy, adventures! And then she eventually realizes that, oh god, I'm the granddaughter of a woman who, and I'm named after a woman who started a horrible civil war that cost the lives of thousands of gems, and my parents kind of exacerbated that. Yeah. Another thing, and this was before Jasper got corrupted, was that in this continuity, she actually got some training from Jasper, who at this point was kind of like a Ronin, in a way. She was very much on, she wasn't really with anybody, but she was kind of on her own, stranded on Earth, and Jasper agreed to train Rose for a short bit. I kind of got the idea from Boba Fett training Jaina Solo. So, she did train her if on the other hand, if Rose could make sure that Jasper would be left alone by the crystal gems. So, there you go, guys. That is a little more of the follow-up for all these characters. I'm sorry I didn't talk about it earlier, but I was like, man, there's so much I left out for this. But yeah, So you guys comment below, let me know. What did you guys think of this little follow-up? You guys just comment below, let me know. And once again, hope you all enjoyed this, and I will see you guys later.